Hello and welcome to TTV News broadcasting on Tay Ninh Radio and Television Station with some latest events in Tay Ninh Province. Ladies and gentlemen, on December 30, during the 2023 Trade Union Tet Market, Tay Ninh Provincial Labour Confederation signed a memorandum of understanding with HD Sison Company Limited to help workers access unsecured loan packages with preferential interest rates, limiting the current black credit situation.
The leaders of Vietnam General Confederation of Labor, leaders of Tay Ninh Province and the State Bank of Tay Ninh Branch witnessed the event. According to the signed agreement, HD Saigon Company Limited will provide consumer loans up to 10,000 billion Vietnam dong for union members and employees, with an interest rate reduced to 50% compared to ordinary customers. This contains a practical significance, bringing the benefits to the union members following the direction of the Prime Minister. The Saigon Company Limited pledged to deploy the loan packages with a higher sense of responsibility, speeding up the approval process for union members and workers' significant circumstances and legitimate borrowing needs in order to contribute to promoting reserve black credit in industrial parks and boarding houses. Loans are made through the trade unions at all levels or directly contact the company to 23,000 transaction points nationwide or through HD Saigon's mobile phone application. And responding to the volunteer spring program in 2023 in the morning of December 31st, the Provincial Union of Agencies and Enterprises block coordinated with Hotantal Youth Union to launch the project of Print, Clean, Beautiful and Safe Rules associated with National Flag Vote. The work has carried out along the alley 40, Wimbledon Street into the commune. Union members and youth of the units installed 10 solar light posts and 10 national flag posts with a total length of 600 meters. The total cost is over 35 million Vietnam dong, supported by the youth branch of the Department of Transport and Communications. Along with that, the union members and youth of the units also mobilized the people living on both sides of the road to fly the national flag throughout the days of the year. And it is a work with a practical significance responding to the movement I Love My Fatherland, directed by the Central Youth Union and contributing to building a beauty and gradually forming a civilized urban lifestyle in the locality.
Dear audience, on December 30, Tay Ninh Border Guard Command collaborated with Law Newspaper of Vietnam, the government newspaper of Ho Chi Minh City, to co-organize the program Tet Border Guard to warm the hearts of border people for the poor people in Tân Hoa Commune, Tân Châu District, Tay Ninh Province.
And with many cultural and artistic activities, physical training and sports and folk games, the program has brought to the border people a warm festival of sentiment attachment between the border soldiers and the people. Colonel Phạm Đình Triệu, Political Commissioner of Tay Ninh Border Guard Command, said that it is an annual activity launched by the Border Guard Command and Tay Ninh Border Guard for the past 5 consecutive years in the border communes. It is one of the programs to join hands with the authorities of localities to take care of the disadvantaged people in the border area, and at the same time, it's the gratitude of the Border Guard Force to the ethnic minorities who have always lovingly helped and joined hands with the Border Guard to firmly protect the national border security sovereignty. On behalf of Tay Ninh Border Guard and the people of the border area of Tân Hoa, he sent a letter of thanks and gave flowers to sponsors, including the Law Newspaper of Vietnam, the Women Newspaper of Ho Chi Minh City, Văn Minh Food Production and Trade One Member Limited Liability Company in Long An Province, and Hùng Duy Medical Joint Stock Company, Hồng Hưng General Hospital, and also Phương Nam Spring Calendar Company for joining hands to bring 150 test kits to the people with difficult circumstances in Tân Hoa Commune, worth for 700,000 Vietnam dong for each, so that they can enjoy the spring and welcome for the Tet Eve. On the same day, representatives of Tay Ninh Border Guard Command, Tay Ninh newspaper, and sponsors visited and presented gifts to 5 households with extremely difficult circumstances in Tân Hoa Commune, and at the same time spent spring wishing and encouraged the family to overcome the intermediate difficulties and quickly settle down.
Caring for social policy beneficiaries, people with meritorious services to the revolution and the poor is carried out regularly and timely. In 2022, 21 new houses were built, and 4 houses of gratitude were repaired for policy families. The province has approved the results of the review of 100 new poor households, especially the emulation movement didn't join hands for the poor, leaving no one behind. In the period of 2021-2025, has been actively participated by localities, business communities, and social organizations associated with new rural construction. Policies, programs, and projects to support the poor have provided opportunities for the poor to have more sources of income, stabilize their life, and escape from poverty. Many models of supporting the poor spread strongly. Poor households in the province decreased sharply. For 2 consecutive years, Tay Ninh has maintained its position in the top 5 ranks, with the lowest poor households in the country. In 2023, Tay Ninh aims at reducing the rate of multidimensionally poor households from 0.15 to 0.2%. Turn to other news. The audience on December 31st, Châu Thành District Police said that they were hunting two subjects named Trần Kim Phượng, born in 1978, living in Quarter 3, Ward 3, Tay Ninh City, and Vũ Đức Hiền, born in 1975, living in Bình Long Hamlet, Thái Bình Commune, Châu Thành District, Tay Ninh Province, to investigate and clarify frauds and high-interest loans.
Previously, Châu Thành District Police received a report from Mr. TVH, 31 years old in Châu Thành District, about being scammed by women with a large amount of money. And on December 30th, 2022, Châu Thành District Police conducted an urgent arrest of Trần Kim Phượng, who was hiding in the area of Hòa Thành Town. And through exploiting and expanding the case, Châu Thành District Police continued to urgently arrest Vũ Đức Hiền, who is related to the case, for the act of lending heavy interest in civil transactions illegally, inspecting Hiền resident functional forces seized exhibits of 22 certificates of land use rights, 1 motorbike, 9 mobile phones, and many sets of notarized documents to carry out the procedures for separating the parcels and many related documents. And the investigation process determined that around March of 2020, due to needing money to trade and cover life, and through a relationship with Hiền, Phượng borrowed money from Hiền with an interest rate up to 288% to 360% per year. And after a period of losing business, he was unable to pay and was threatened and pressured by Hiền. So Phượng had the intention to defrauding the other people's money to pay interest for Hiền, and taking advantage of people's needs in making land documents, changing the land use purposes, separating the plots, etc. Trần Kim Phượng went to notary offices in Châu Thành District and Tay Ninh City, introduced to the people that she has a very close relationship with many officials of the Department of Natural Resources and Environment, so she can make a recourse very quickly to grant the trust for the people. And after receiving the people's money as certificates of land use right, Phượng paid interest to Vũ Đức Hiền. If there was not enough money to pay interest, Phượng continued to give the certificates of land use rights that she obtained to Hiền to deduct from the outstanding profit. And the amount of the money Phượng appropriates from the people in Tay Ninh Province ranged from 100 million Việt Nam đồng to 200 million Việt Nam đồng per day. From March of 2020 until now, the amount of money Hiền lent to Phượng in both principal and interest amounted to more than 947 billion Việt Nam đồng, in which the loan amount is more than 535 billion Việt Nam đồng, and the amount of illegal profit is more than 412 billion Việt Nam đồng. And currently, the case is being investigated by Châu Thành District Police to continue to investigate and handle in accordance with the law.
Ladies and gentlemen, in 2022, the epidemic is basically under control with effective implementation of the guidelines and policies of the central government, the close administration of solutions to support businesses and people to overcome difficulties. Tay Ninh has achieved exciting results. Economic growth exceeded the plan. Many targets broke out strongly. On 19 out of 19 main targets have met and exceeded the plan. There are 9 economic indicators that are higher than the resolution, in which economic growth of 9.5%, the strongest increase in the last 10 years. In 2022 plan, GDP increases by 6.5% or more. Compared to the whole country, Tay Ninh has the GDP growth rate ranked 15 out of 63 provinces, among the top provinces in the southern key economic region. Notably, in the structure of GDP, the value of agriculture, forestry, fishery sector decreased sharply. There is a huge increase of industry, construction, and trade in services. The agriculture, forestry, fishery sector accounts for over 20%. Industry, construction accounted for 45.50%. The service sector accounted for 29.58%. This result shows the strong rise of Tay Ninh, the creative dynamism in the process of operating and performing tests. Right from the beginning of the year, Tay Ninh focused on drastically and effectively implementing the resolution of the government, the Provincial Party Committee and the Provincial People's Council on Socio-Economic Development with the highest determination and responsibility, continue to seamlessly and drastically implement policies to support recovery and development of production and business activities, according to Resolution Number 11, dated January 30, 2022 of the government. In 2022, many spectacular growth targets. Tay Ninh has 758 newly established enterprises with a total registered capital of over 16 billion Vietnam dong, increased over 18% in the number of enterprises, increased over 100% of registered capital. Industrial production index increased by over 16% over the same period, reaching the highest level in the last 3 years. The processing manufacturing industry accounted for a large proportion and increased sharply in the third quarter. Total retail sales of goods and sales of social consumer services increased by over 25% over the same period. Export turnover reached $6.4 billion, the highest ever, up nearly 26% over the same period. Import turnover increased by 19% over the same period. State budget revenue increased by nearly 17%. Budget expenditure increased by nearly 19% over the same period. This is also the first year that the province has a budget revenue of 12,000 billion Vietnam dong. Many districts complete budget collection ahead of time. Gò Dầu, Dung Châu, and Bến Cầu districts complete the budget collection 5 months in advance. Total tourism revenue is estimated at 1,400 billion Vietnam dong, up 130%. The number of visitors to tourist sites and attractions increased by 200%. Tay Ninh is one of the 5 major tourist attractions of the country. Domestic investment attraction increased by over 36%. There are 22 projects adjusted to increase capital by nearly 2,900 billion Vietnam dong. Disbursement rate of public investment is quite high, over 96%. It's the 6th province in the country in terms of public investment disbursement. Total social development investment capital increased by over 14% over the same period, in which the state sector increased by 2.43%, non-state sector increased by 4.95%, the FDI sector increased by 28.45%. Mobilized capital of rated institutions increased by 20%. In 2022, Tay Ninh has implemented many solutions to support businesses and people to remove difficulties, develop production, and contribute to economic growth. Tay Ninh also continues to promote digital transformation, improve the quality of administrative reform, implement cooperation programs with provinces and cities, invest in new construction, and operate many inter-regional roads, creating favorable conditions for business community, opening up many prospects for attractive investment. The gap between rural and urban areas has been greatly reduced due to the effectiveness of the new rural construction program, and people's lives have been stabilized and improved. Many targets exceeded the plan. Having a spectacular breakthrough is the clearest evidence of Tay Ninh's economic recovery after the COVID-19 pandemic. In 2022, departments, districts, town, city, business communities, and people have made great efforts to increase working capacity to compensate for the economic decline from 2 years ago due to the pandemic. Tay Ninh determined the achieved results to continue effectively implementing the 2023 target, creating a remit for implementation in the coming years, completing the resolution of the 11th Tay Ninh Provincial Party Congress. That's all for today news. Thank you for being with us and goodbye for now.